So our next guest is the teacher of my dreams. His name is Bryan Andes, and he is a kindergarten / first grade teacher at PS 212 in New York, also called Midtown West School. And I met him when I was doing Gypsy, and he brought me into his class to sing Little Lamb for all of his students. And they like passed around all their little stuffed animals and they helped them. And then I went back again when he was doing My Fair Lady and the tribute to Lerner and Lowe, and I sang Loverly with them. And then most recently, on the 20th of May, which is Eliza Doolittle Day, I was able to assist him in his sort of homeschooling version of how they could celebrate Eliza Doolittle Day. So let's look at a little video clip before we meet Bryan of his students performing, and it is genuinely the most adorable thing you're ever going to see. So please enjoy.
You, I like, can you imagine that? Although your ways may be strange, and there's much that I change, somehow you, I like, and morally recommend. From now on, we'll call each other friends. I'll be at your side until the end.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I was hoping we were going to see more of that video. It was so, I'm not thrilled to see you, but I was really into it.
So good.
So good. Hi.
It's good to see you.
It's so good to see you. I have so many things I want to talk to you about. So as I told the people at home, we met when
about 10 years ago.
10 years ago? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it went by so quickly.
It went by so quickly. So tell us, please go ahead.
I was going to say you came in to do scenes from Into the Woods, and we did Little Lamb a cappella, and they passed around the little stuffed animals of all the animals that appear in that song. It was
so adorable. And then I got to do the scene of My Fair Lady,
right,
with some of the kids.
Earlier in this year.
Very adorable. Yeah, this year. So talk to me a bit about your program and what you do, and then we'll circle back around to how you got started with it.
So basically, I'm in a really amazing school that teaches through an interdisciplinary approach to learning, which is modeled after the Bank Street philosophy of teaching, in which everything is integrated into one thematic work throughout the year. So basically our lens into learning is through social studies. So starting in pre-K, we focus on the individual child. In kindergarten, we move into the family study. And then in first grade, we learn about community and school. So essentially, our theater study is about learning about the neighborhood in which you go to school. And since we're in the theater district, it's using theater to illustrate the collaborative process of how people work together to create a musical.
I love that you do that. So what brought you to teaching?
I was just one of those kids who always was, I loved school. I had a second grade teacher, Mrs. Riley, who exposed us to the arts in second grade through painting and music and dance. I mean, I just remember that room being so alive. I always thought as a teacher, you have a chance to do everything throughout the day. You're a reader, you're a writer, you're a mathematician, you're a scientist. Like, it's not limiting. So for someone who loves learning and loves, all aspects of learning, being a teacher is such a great profession because you get to do all of those things every single day.
Yeah.
And so I just always knew I wanted to teach. I was one of those kids in the neighborhood who was always organizing games and clubs and inviting kids over and playing teacher. So when I went to NYU, I had this amazing teacher, Carolyn Spangler, in my senior year of undergrad work at NYU, who introduced me to this idea of using social studies as a way to tie in your year of curriculum. And it inspired me so much, and things just kind of worked out. I interviewed for this job at 212, which was 2 decades ago. I got the job in 2000, and it was a school where that is what they wanted. That is what they were looking for, teachers to kind of help elevate the curriculum and to bring a new, fresh perspective to it. And we had an amazing principal at that time, Mary Timpson, who believed in me, and a great group of teachers, some of whom are still there. And I got my feet wet for a couple of years, and then we started the theater study in 2005, and it started small, and then it's just blossomed into what it's become today.
You have had so many luminaries come to your class.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen Sondheim.
And that was the first year. He was our last guest in the first year, which was funny because we said we started small, but you get Mr. Sondheim, and I guess, wow.
I mean,
I couldn't believe it.
Can you list some of your other guests that you've had?
We had Julie Andrews and Carol Burnett and Vanessa Redgrave and Elaine Stritch, who sang Broadway Baby to the kids. But then what's so special about the study is it's the Alice Gilbert's wardrobe supervisor. It's Michael Passero, who's the stage manager. It's Tom Scholl, who's the fight director. It's those jobs and those people that are equally as important to these kids. Because for them, they don't know who Stephen Sondheim is in the sense that we do. They don't know who Vanessa Redgrave is. They see the work and they appreciate the work. But for them, everyone is equally exciting and each job is equally important, which is what's so special at this age.
Yes, 100%. I definitely experienced that with my daughter. Whenever we see Lin-Manuel Miranda, he always starts to sing Moana to her. And she's like, no.
Right.
And I'm like, Alec, he wrote that. He wrote it. And she's like,
Nope, not today.
And every time he laughs hysterically. He's got such a good sense of humor about it. But it is so funny to me. It is they just don't know yet. They don't know the hierarchy of the world yet. It's beautiful.
And I think that's what I think the guests respond to too, is that when they come in, it's for the actual work itself. It's not about the celebrity or the, how big someone is.
They are people. That also speaks to who you get. Because I know I would imagine there are some actors who actually don't like that. That they would probably want to be treated like a star. But not the people you've had, not my sweet queen, Julie Andrews.
Right.
It's just so remarkable to me whenever the 2 times I've come to your class to see these images of my heroes there. It's just absolutely incredible. Sorry, I'm just looking. Okay, Madison is back, so we're going to get to Madison after we talk to you. I'm so relieved. So talk to me a bit about, has there ever been a parent who's like, what? My kid's going to be doing what?
Yeah, I mean, especially when we first started, it took time to kind of build what this project was. And there's always that hesitation of, what is this about? When is the, quote unquote, real work going to happen?
The learning, right.
The learning. And it's helping them to understand that putting on a show is one of the hardest things, one of the most complex things you will ever get to do. And it's all aspects of the child that we're supporting. So by putting on a show, it affects reading, writing, math, science. I mean, every area of the curriculum is embedded into this work. And so the idea is that the kids are doing all this work and they don't even know that they're doing science. They don't know that they're doing math. It's all there. And so the learning is exciting and it is fun. And, it's helping parents to see that does elevate all areas of the day, no matter what they're doing. And you see it.
Have you had a parent come full circle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That must feel great.
It does. And like I said, I mean, now, not so much. Now I think because we've seen it happen, it's been going on since, 2005. So we have kind of the legacy of the program. And I think people now come to our school or, enter the classroom knowing what's ahead and, they anticipate it and they're excited about it.
Yes. So you begin working with them in kindergarten and you work with them through first grade. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so we call it looping at our school. We stay with them for 2 years and it's giving them, an experience. I think this study is so in-depth and so rich because we're able to start it in kindergarten. And it starts in the spring of kindergarten with an extensive immersion of fairy tales. Right. So the kids learn about the fairy tales, and as much as I love the Disney versions, love, I want them to understand that those tales didn't start with Disney. So we study those tales and we go back and we look at where those tales came from. We look at different versions from around the world. I mean, when we focused on Cinderella, I mean, we looked at, over a few dozen books of Cinderella. I mean, extended over the course of a month. I mean, you could focus on Cinderella for the year. There's so many different tales. So it's learning about fairy tales and this idea then how we connect them to our families, how we study the tradition of oral storytelling, how families pass down tales from one generation to the next, and how we make those connections. And then when we move into the first grade theater study, the idea is that we then bring back the tales that we learned about in kindergarten, and then we adapt it into the musical for our final year.
Oh, that is amazing. David, when you are able to pop up some of those photos and videos so Bryan and I can speak to them, because they're so, talk to me. Tell me everything.
So this is one of the musicals, The Girl in the Mask, based on the tale of Cinderella that we studied. And the kids take on all the jobs. So what's unique about our theater study program is that the kids take on all of the jobs. So in the fall, they learn about all of the jobs from the front of the house all the way to the back of the house. And then in the second half of the year, they each decide on what am I good at, what are my strengths, and what can I carry on. So they actually become the costume designers, the set designers, the stagehand, the stage manager. And they go through the entire process. So here you see the painting of the costume designer, and then that picture before was it actually built. So we also have a collaboration with the Children's Institute of Fashion Arts. They hand make all the costumes, but the kids also, the easier costumes, the ensemble costumes, the kids actually hand sew them. So the kids are involved in the process of making the costumes. The kids made the mask for this. Bit by bit, they all glued on the pieces. So every single thing for each production is made by hand based on the kids' work.
Yes, that is so beautiful. And you find that the children are collaborative.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point is, you know, do I want them to have an appreciation for the arts, of course, and musical theater history and all of that stuff, because I love it so much. But the bigger piece is that they can take these life skills and these concepts and apply it to anything that they want to do in life. Because, you know, no matter what job you want to do, you have to learn how to listen to each other. You have to learn how to collaborate. There's a process you have to go through. So the study is very much process oriented.
Yes. Absolutely.
They also go through the design process. We even, Spotco hosts the children every year, and the finalists do design campaigns at Spotco, and Spotco picks the winning design every year.
That is amazing.
There you see the sketch, and this is the final painting.
Yes. And how are you able to make these connections?
I mean, it started, the first person I ever responded to me back in 2005 was Joanna Gleason.
Of course it was.
She was in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I dropped a note backstage, and she emailed me maybe a few days later, and I said, I couldn't believe it. Joanna Gleason's emailing me. And I said, is it that easy? I mean, I didn't know, but at the time it gave me the confidence. And she was one of our very first guests and came in and worked on scenes, directing them in scenes from Into the Woods. And I said, whoa. And it kind of just started from there slowly. And Jessica Hecht was a parent at our school, and she was instrumental in helping, like, bringing people from the community. So it was making those connections, and then it slowly builds. You know, if you have a great experience, you then tell your friends, and so it just keeps growing and growing.
Yes, it's so beautiful. I love so much what you're doing. I think it's so important. And I also couldn't get over how sort of polite and well-behaved your children were, and had a genuine appreciation for the community that we were creating in your classroom. It really, it was so beautiful. Yeah, what you're doing, I think.
And that's part of it too, just how to sit, how to respect someone, how to ask questions, how to wait your turn. Just being part of an audience itself is so important.
Yes, and just learning to wait. That's the hardest thing. It's so hard to wait for your turn to talk. And especially if you feel like you have something to contribute that's really important. That's something we're working on with my daughter. So now she's like, all the time, just in the middle of everything, is raising her hand, but it's so beautiful. Before we let you go, I just want to see if we can see a few more photos, or maybe even a video that David can.
I want the door that belongs to me. I want the bed that belongs to me. I want to know when I climb into bed, I'll wake up in my own morning. I have to leave. You can't leave. The sun's just going down. We have all night. Don't worry, we'll catch up some other time. Where has the time all gone to? Haven't done half the things we want to.
But Bernardo made me promise.
Bernardo, why was I living in this country? Do I ever even 30 seconds? I sew all day, I sit all night. For what did my time go living in?
Well, he brought you here to marry Gino.
When I reach it, nothing happened.
But what do you expect to happen?
I mean, just Rita Moreno. Just doing a scene with Rita Moreno.
Just because. And what's amazing about the song My Own Morning from that scene that Cinderella was singing by the fireplace is that as part of that Compton and Green year, Leslie Eggums, whose birthday it is today, she came to teach that song to the kids. So the idea is that the original artists sometimes have been the ones to come to our classroom to teach those songs that we then use in the show, which is so amazing when you think about and she was there opening night. So to have Leslie Eggums watching Isabel sing her song that she created was just too much.
And who is your orchestra?
We have a sometimes 12 to 14 piece orchestra every year, made up of musicians, made of family members, talented musicians that are in our building, local 802 members who donate their time. But the music is fully orchestrated for the kids, and we have a sitz probe before we do it, and the kids get to sing with the orchestra during rehearsal for the first time. It's every bit of the process.
I was supposed to come this year, and then you guys had to cancel it.
Right, our opening night is the 17th, so it's obviously not going to happen this year, but we're hoping to do something in some form next year when we get to the fall. And I was even thinking maybe we could just film a movie musical version of it and stage it outside around Central Park, because so much of it can be. So we'll see. It's going to be something, because we have so much of it done already. Well,
count me in if I can help in any way.
I will.
I want to be there. You're the best. You are the teacher of my dreams, and I thank you for what you're doing and the humans that you're creating. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And thank you for everything you've done too.
Oh, thanks, Bryan. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye. Bye.
Bye.